The day I was fired from Novatech wasn't the worst day of my life. That had come 6 months earlier when Mom's cancer returned. But standing in Marcus Sterling's corner office, watching him sneer at my request for flexible hours to handle her treatments, I realized just how cruel success could make people. Let me get this straight, David. Marcus leaned back in his Italian leather chair, his custom suit probably worth more than my yearly salary. You want special treatment because your mother is sick. Do you think Novatech became a billion-dollar company by accommodating everyone's personal problems? I stood my ground, 5 years of leading his R&D department giving me the courage to speak up. I've delivered every project ahead of schedule. I can work remotely when needed. My team supports. Your team? He cut me off with a laugh that didn't reach his eyes. Let's be clear. They're my team. Everything here is mine. That's what happens when you're the CEO. The Manhattan skyline stretched out behind him through floor-to-ceiling windows, a perfect backdrop for his power play. On his desk, business magazines featured his face under headlines like Tech's youngest billionaire and the new king of Silicon Valley. I just need 3 months. I tried again. The doctors say this round of treatment is crucial, and I need employees who put this company first. Marcus stood, straightening his tie. Your mother's health issues are not Novatech's concern. If you can't maintain normal working hours, I'll find someone who can. The threat hung in the air between us. I thought about Mom, how she'd raised me alone after Dad died, working 2 jobs to put me through engineering school. How she'd never missed a science fair or graduation, even when she was exhausted. How she'd beamed with pride when I landed this job at Novatech. Then I guess you'll have to find someone else, I said quietly. Marcus's smile was sharp as a knife. Security will escort you out. Your personal items will be shipped to you. He turned to his computer, already dismissing me. Oh, and David, don't expect a reference. As security walked me through the open office, past shocked colleagues and whispered conversations, I caught a glimpse of the presentation slides on the main screen. Project Quantum, $2.3 billion merger with TechCorp Industries. Little did Marcus know, but that merger was about to become his biggest nightmare. Because while he'd been busy building his empire on the backs of overworked employees, I'd been quietly building something of my own. The idea had come during those long nights at the hospital during Mom's first bout with cancer. Watching the medical equipment struggle to communicate across different systems, seeing nurses waste precious time dealing with compatibility issues, I knew there had to be a better way. For 2 years, I'd worked on it in my spare time. A revolutionary quantum computing protocol that could seamlessly integrate any technological system, regardless of manufacturer or operating system. The ultimate universal translator for the digital age. Novatech's contracts included the standard clause claiming ownership of any innovation developed using company resources. But I hadn't used a single company resource. Every line of code had been written on my personal laptop, every test run through servers I built in my garage. And 3 months ago, just after Mom's cancer returned, I quietly filed the patents under my own name. The same patents that Novatech's merger with TechCorp desperately needed to succeed. Walking out of the Novatech building for the last time, I pulled out my phone and made 2 calls. The first was to Dr. Sarah Chen, Mom's oncologist, upgrading her care package to the hospital's premium suite. The second was to my old college roommate, now a partner at Silicon Valley's top tech law firm. Hey, Michael, I said, watching Marcus's office through the glass walls as he probably drafted the company-wide email about my departure. Remember that patent portfolio we filed? I think it's time to take it public. The next morning, as I sat with Mom during her treatment, my phone buzzed with breaking news alerts. Mysterious PTNT FIALING 3 teens NLVATCHCORPMEOGR. Wall Street QESTIONS VIABILITW of $2.3 billion test stage deal. NovatechStockPLUmanities on integration concerns. Mom looked up from her magazine, ever perceptive despite her illness. Something interesting on your phone, honey? I smiled, taking her hand. Just some business news, nothing as important as being here with you. But we both knew this was just the beginning. Marcus Sterling was about to learn a valuable lesson about what really matters in life. And it wasn't his corner office or magazine covers. Sometimes the worst day of your life becomes the catalyst for something extraordinary. And sometimes, when you choose love over power, you end up with both. The next few weeks passed in a blur of hospital visits, patent meetings, and increasingly frantic news updates about Novatech's crumbling merger plans. From my mom's premium hospital suite, I watched Marcus Sterling's empire start to crack. TechCorp demands answers on integration protocol. Novatech faces shareholder revolt over merger concerns. Sterling's $2.3 billion dream deal on life support. You don't look very upset for someone who just lost their job, Mom observed one morning, her keen eyes studying me over her breakfast tray. Despite the aggressive treatments, she hadn't lost her sharp insight. Actually, I smiled, setting my laptop aside. I think I finally found my real job. My phone buzzed. Michael, my patent attorney, calling with updates. David, it's chaos over there, he reported gleefully. Sterling's been in emergency board meetings for 3 days straight. TechCorp is threatening to pull out unless Novatech can guarantee system integration within 6 months. Which they can't do without my protocol. I finished. Exactly. Their in-house team says it would take years to develop something comparable. The board is demanding answers, shareholders are panicking, and Sterling, well, let's just say his tech's youngest billionaire crown is slipping. I glanced at Mom, dozing now after her morning medications. Have they figured out who owns the patents yet? No, but they're getting close. Sterling's lawyers have been crawling all over the patent office filings. It's only a matter of time. As if on cue, my phone lit up with another call. Nina Chen, my former deputy at Novatech's R&D department. David, she whispered urgently, Sterling's on the warpath. He just fired 3 people for disloyalty because they suggested looking for the patent holder instead of trying to build a new protocol from scratch. How's the team? Scared. Overworked. He's got everyone pulling 16-hour days trying to replicate your work. But David? She hesitated. There's something else. I overheard him on the phone with someone about alternative acquisition methods. He sounded desperate. I thanked her and hung up, my mind racing. Marcus Sterling hadn't built his empire by playing nice. When billions were at stake, people like him often decided that rules were for others. Sure enough, that evening, unusual activity alerts started pinging from my home security system. Someone had tried to access my garage where my development servers were kept. They're getting sloppy, Michael commented when I called him. I've documented everything. But David, you need to be careful. Sterling's not going to take this lying down. He was right. The next morning, a routine audit from the IRS arrived at my door. By afternoon, old college acquaintances were receiving calls about my concerning behavior. A reporter even showed up at Mom's hospital room, asking questions about my troubled childhood. Classic intimidation tactics, Michael assured me. They're trying to pressure you into revealing yourself. The good news is it means they're desperate. The bad news arrived 3 days later. Mom's doctor called me into her office, looking troubled. There's been a complication with the insurance, Dr. Chen said carefully. Somehow, all your mother's premium care authorizations have been revoked. They're saying she needs to move to standard care immediately. My hands clenched. Sterling. I'm sorry. Nothing. I stood up. Don't change anything about her care. I'll handle the bills directly. But Marcus Sterling's message was clear. He could hurt me through the people I loved. Walking back to Mom's room, I made a decision. It was time to stop playing defense. I called Michael. Remember that press package we prepared? Release it tomorrow morning. All of it. The full reveal. Are you sure? Once we do this, I'm sure. And Michael? Make sure every major business news outlet gets the video of Sterling firing me. The security cameras had excellent audio. The next morning, while Mom and I watched the sunrise from her hospital window, my phone exploded with notifications. Fired Novatech Gage engineer REVELED as NLISTEROI TKENT Holodier. Steer lines FATAL mistake. Full video of confrontation GOES EIVRAL. Novatech board KL's emergency meeting as SHR IS plunge 40%. Mom picked up her tablet, reading the headlines. Is this why you've been smiling at your phone all week? I took her hand. Part of it. The other part is your latest scan results. The treatment's working, Mom. Tears filled her eyes. You didn't have to give up your job for me. I didn't give up anything. I just finally understood what you always taught me. Real success isn't about corner offices or magazine covers. It's about doing the right thing, even when it's hard. My phone buzzed again. A message from Nina. Sterling's called an all-hands emergency board meeting for tomorrow morning. He's ordered every department head to attend, including former employees. David, I think this is it. I squeezed Mom's hand. Get some rest. I have a meeting tomorrow. Give them hell, honey, she smiled. But remember, revenge isn't about destroying others. It's about building something better. I finished our old saying. I know, Mom, and that's exactly what I plan to do. Novatech's lobby looked exactly as I remembered it. All chrome and glass and carefully cultivated power. But this morning, the usual buzz of activity was replaced by tense silence. Every screen displayed the same news. Novatech's stock in freefall. The merger collapsing, and my face. The fired engineer who held their future in his hands. Security recognized me immediately. Mr. Wilson, the guard nodded respectfully, all traces of his previous dismissive attitude gone. The board is waiting in the main conference room. I checked my watch, 8:57 a.m. Right on time. The conference room fell silent as I entered. Familiar faces lined both sides of the massive table. Department heads, board members, and major investors. Marcus Sterling sat at the head, his perfect facade cracking around the edges. Dark circles shadowed his eyes, his designer suit slightly rumpled. David, he forced a smile. Thank you for coming. I believe we have some things to discuss. Do we? I took my seat, setting my laptop on the table. I thought Novatech wasn't concerned with personal problems. Several board members shifted uncomfortably. The video of my firing had gone viral, with Sterling's callous dismissal of my sick mother becoming a symbol of toxic corporate culture. The past is the past. Sterling waved his hand dismissively. We're here to talk business. Your integration protocol. Obviously, there's been a misunderstanding about ownership. No misunderstanding. I opened my laptop. The patents are registered to me personally. Every line of code was written on my own time, using my own resources. Your lawyers have already confirmed this. Then name your price. Sterling leaned forward. Everyone has one. I pulled up a document on the main screen. Actually, I have terms. Terms? Sterling's fake smile faltered. First, Novatech will establish a comprehensive healthcare fund for all employees and their families. Full coverage, no exceptions. That's not. Second, I continued, the company will implement strict work-life balance policies. No more 80-hour weeks or vacation shaming. This is ridiculous. Sterling stood up. We're offering you millions and you want to play social justice warrior? Third, I met his glare steadily. You resign as CEO effective immediately. The room erupted in chaos. Sterling's face turned purple. How dare you? How dare I? I stood up slowly. You tried to intimidate me. You targeted my mother's medical care. You even sent people to break into my home. You can't prove. Actually, I tapped my laptop, bringing up another screen. I can prove everything, including your insider trading last quarter, your offshore accounts, and those interesting emails about alternative acquisition methods. The board chairman cleared his throat. Mr. Sterling, perhaps we should discuss these allegations privately. This is absurd. Sterling slammed his fist on the table. I built this company. No, I corrected quietly. You built an empire on other people's work and sacrifice. The real Novatech was built by engineers working overtime, by developers missing their kids' birthdays, by people like me who believed in creating something meaningful. I turned to address the board directly. My integration protocol is revolutionary. With it, Novatech could dominate the tech industry for decades. Without it, the company will lose the merger and likely face a shareholder revolt. The chairman nodded gravely. Your terms, Mr. Wilson, are non-negotiable. I finished. But there's one more thing. I pulled up a final document, a press release announcing Novatech's new charitable initiative. The Grace Wilson Memorial Foundation, named for my mother, dedicated to supporting families facing medical crises. You're insane, Sterling whispered. The shareholders will never. Actually, a new voice spoke up. James Chen, our biggest investor, stood. The shareholders have already voted. Mr. Sterling, the board has lost confidence in your leadership. We accept Mr. Wilson's terms. What happened next was a blur of signatures and legal documents. By noon, Marcus Sterling had been escorted from the building, his empire crumbling around him. By evening, Novatech stock had stabilized as the markets responded to the announced changes. 1 week later, I stood in Mom's hospital room, watching her read the news coverage. Novatech announces revolutionary new direction, she read aloud. Former R&D head David Wilson named CEO. My son, the chief executive. Acting CEO, I corrected. Just until we implement the changes. Then I'm going back to R&D, that's where the real work happens. She smiled knowingly. And the foundation. Already helping 3 families cover their cancer treatments. I took her hand. Soon it'll be helping hundreds. Your father would be so proud, she squeezed my fingers. Not of the success. That's wonderful. But of how you achieved it. You didn't let bitterness win. I learned from the best. I smiled. How are you feeling? Better every day. The doctors are very optimistic. My phone buzzed. A message from Nina about the merger negotiations. TechCorp was thrilled with the new direction. The deal would go through, bigger than ever. You know, Mom mused, Marcus Sterling never understood the most important thing about success. What's that? Real power isn't about controlling others. It's about lifting them up. That's how you build something lasting. Looking out at the sunset painting the city skyline, I thought about everything that had changed. Novatech was transforming from a burnout factory into a model of corporate responsibility. Families like mine wouldn't have to choose between work and caring for their loved ones. And somewhere, Marcus Sterling was learning that true leadership isn't about corner offices and magazine covers. By the way, Mom added casually, when do you plan to tell them about your new quantum encryption protocol? I grinned. Some things never changed. Mom still knew me better than anyone. One revolution at a time, I replied. For now, let's focus on getting you better. After all, I squeezed her hand. Family comes first. Years later, people would study the Novatech transformation as a business school case. They'd analyze the strategy, the timing, the execution. But they'd miss the most important lesson. Sometimes the greatest victories don't come from destroying your enemies, but from transforming their weapons into tools for healing. And sometimes, when you choose love over power, you end up changing not just a company, but an entire industry. As for me, I still work late sometimes, but now it's by choice, usually brainstorming new ways to make the world a little better, one innovation at a time. After all, that's what real success looks like.